We live. What's it?
I'm doing fantastic. I used to, here's the thing. I used to play Warframe before this Banana Swap because Destiny Forsaken's out, and I'm all in playing is that. I played that, I think, 15 hours yesterday, and I took a break, and I still playing it. I haven't slept into it. Sorry about it. Playing this.
Wow.
Buddy boy, you need help.
Right?
No, and the best, because this is my last week, because when I'm switching jobs, I have a week off, and it's kind of perfect, because when Forsaken comes out, I have a week off immediately, so it's like, let's do this.
Huh.
It's like, who needs to sleep anyways? Let's be honest, guys.
Oh,
Who sleeps here?
speaking of, did you guys hear that they announced a Nintendo Direct for tomorrow?
That's yeah. It's one of the things I was going to bring up tonight. Nintendo Direct is confirmed September 6th.
If there's no Metroid Prime 4 or Bayonetta 3 shown there, it's a waste of time.
I heard it has to do with Switch and 3DS, which I know the Switch side.
Or new Pokemon. I'm fine with that one.
I know the Switch side. They're going to be showing off more information about the online service that they're releasing later this month.
I'm not gonna lie. This is
what's confirmed. Didn't somebody find like code for emulators in something on the Switch?
Wait, is that true? Because if there's like a GameCube emulator in the Switch,
No, not GameCube. But I could have swore it was the Virtual Console, and then I could have swore I read something about like 3DS or.
So right now the NES is available through Nintendo Online through the subscription service. You could get 20 classic NES games, of which they've only listed 10, which I don't remember off the top of my head. And most of them, they've implemented some sort of online mode. So like games like Excite Bike, Balloon Fight, they have an online mode where you can
hold up. If they want to make instant money, just go. We make it backwards compatible, and you can get GameCube games on your Switch. That will sell hand over fist money because you can play any game on the go. That would make hand over fist money.
I would buy it in a heartbeat. I'd buy the console again.
Crazy Taxi, yo.
Crazy Taxi on the Switch. Yo, I'm out playing Crazy Taxi.
Dude, fucking Mario Kart Double Dash. Holy shit.
Yup, fucking the original Smash.
No, that was Melee on.
Or Melee, yeah, Melee. Excuse me.
Melee and this
Switch, fucking whatever. Melee was the best one. Fucking fight me.
I mean, I'm waiting for Ultimate Fan.
Even though Smash Bros. Brawl was good, it's not. Melee's better.
I played a lot of Brawl. But you know what? I did really enjoy what is it called?
I enjoyed the campaign of Brawl. Funny enough, I thought it was actually kind of funny. Yeah, I'm a terrible human being, but yeah. Did someone's mom walk in?
No, sister. But,
is she hot?
She's 11.
Oh, fuck.
Wow. Might work for you, Blue.
What?
You're only like 13, right?
No, I'm 17.
18, turning 19 this year.
Yeah.
So.
Rob the cradle, bro. It's all good.
I'll just say I'm a Democrat, guys. I can't do anything.
No, it's okay. You identify as 13.
Oh, you're right, B. You're right.
Dude, I should have went to fucking what is it called? Shoppers and got more microwave noodles.
Microwave what?
Microwave noodles.
Shopper from One Piece, you mean?
Dude, I'm not even in college yet, and I'm living off of microwave noodles. It's like I have the money and everything to eat too, but I just still live off of microwave.
Hey, ramen's delicious, man.
Yeah.
I mean, ramen's all right.
And I just found, cause fucking somebody threw away my 3-minute ramen cooker, so I just found another one at the like 99-cent-esque store near my house. So fucking I'm golden. 3-minute ramen, man.
Is ramen really that good to you guys? I tasted it. I'm like, yeah, that's all right.
It's all right. It's decent enough. I mean, it's got a shitload of carbs and it's got a shitload of salt, but
that's another reason why I can't eat it, because it has too many carbs.
But I mean, if you're starving and there's nothing else, like that's the other thing too. It works really good as a substitute for like chicken soup or whatever when you're sick, or like if you have a sore throat, because it's basically salt water.
Especially, wait, are we still talking about microwave noodles?
Pretty much.
Alright, yeah. If
Oh, I
especially
thought you
if
were
you're
talking
like,
about putting your cock in the microwave.
No, dude.
damn it,
You
trying
put
to kill.
you put the grapefruit in the microwave and then you fuck it with your cock, bro. Come on, dude.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
You're right, B.
Keep you on the straight and level.
Hey, Jesus Christ.
But no, yeah,
Pretty
when you got a sore throat, fucking eating ramen and then drinking the broth, dude. Ooh, that hits the spot right there.
What if it isn't right there?
Anyways,
It's
what
like
has happened?
keyboards there.
We went from Nintendo Switch to ramen, so that's pretty good.
It's game talk, bro. You know how we do.
You know, but also Nintendo's. Just point is, if there's no Metro Prime Force or Bayonetta 3, I'm not watching it.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know if there is that stuff. I'll
Because
give you-
they didn't show that at E3 this year, Nintendo.
Well, they didn't
talk
show
about
shit
it.
at E3 though.
They showed Smash Bros, and that's why everyone loves it. Cause it's like, oh my god, Melee. But
They
you know,
they
there is a
showed-
couple bad things with the trailer though.
What did I hear?
Fuck.
No,
Ling is an assist character for some stupid reason.
I was gonna
And,
say 2B from Nier, but no, she's not gonna be in Smash. She's gonna be in the new Soul Calibur.
Oh, really?
Well, not confirmed. I can't remember if what the act
Yeah,
like if it was rumor or if it was they had like screen grabs or whatever. But yeah.
Did you guys hear about the graphical downgrades on the new Spider-Man game?
Yep.
Beautiful.
I heard it was kind of disproved.
That's see, okay, you know, because what Riot,
Insomniac.
what
Oh,
Insomniac
there's news
said,
for Riot.
yeah,
They just changed the shader and like kind of moved some of the puddles around. It looks like.
Well, okay, there was less water on the ground, right? But the quality of the water, that could be debated. What can't really be debated, though, is how Spider-Man's costume
Suit,
looks.
Yeah.
They
Because,
could have just made it look less glossy though.
no, because all the shading is gone. If you look at the side by side, and the one on the left is the one that people are saying is the better one. You know, you see like there's way less water in the right one, but it could just be that they moved water around or whatever. And the reflections are different on the water, but again, that could have just been that they move shit around and there's less water or whatever, right? But if you look at Spider-Man, on the one on the left, like there's actual shadows on his costume, and like the
I'm trying to
red
get
changes.
I'm trying to get-
It's a deep red with
Didn't-
darker shade in a lot of places, and then a brighter red in other places. If you look on the one on the right, all of the red on his suit is the exact same shade.
1 second, let me find the thing.
Yeah, I'm not at my computer right now. I'll bring it up when I get there. Ugh.
I'm grabbing one. Second. Okay, there it is. Can't seem to find a full image.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up.
I've seen it everywhere on Twitter and Instagram. Probably pull it up, but that's a lot of work. Spider-Man downgrade. Oh,
Spider-Man.
Yeah, here's a good picture.
Shadow quality
Copy
looks...
images. I mean, it's way different. I just posted it in
I mean, I did hear some news about the new Spider game. How people
Shitpost.
think it's a bit. I don't know. My friend he said it's kind of lackluster new Spider-Man game.
like all of the glossy, shiny parts.
I mean, that could be like looking at it from here. I mean, it could be possible that it is shading because they could have just like made the roughness values a little bit higher or something.
I don't know, man.
Because
Like that's
I don't
an
know.
awful lot of detail on his suit. Like there's no like you look at the top of his head, there's a shiny reflection part on the top of his head and then on the top of his right shoulder too. Like
look at how
that's-
crisp
That could just be a change, though. They could have just made it more rough.
look at how
the
crisp
roughness.
the black lines are on the top one. Then look at the bottom one.
yeah,
They kinda
it's
blend in with the red.
or like look at his right forearm. Right around his elbow. You can see the muscle
yeah.
definition and then on the next one you can just barely make out a couple of lines instead of
Yeah.
actual like shadows and gloss and shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, Cyrus, I haven't watched the Digital Foundries video yet, but here's the thing, right? Like, there's so much if you don't know the actual code, then you don't know any more than what we do. Like I don't care what proof they have, it's all going to be speculation, just like we're speculating. Cuz
I can
you
can
can't
see it being a change in some stuff, textural change.
Here's another
Sure,
one.
but like I said, unless you have the actual code, like unless unless they
Yeah.
have, what the shaders were before and after, like there's no way they can say, "Oh, this is definitely, X, Y, and Z with as far
I
as
heard-
graphics go."
I
So,
heard the
Look at the-
texture definition was still good.
Look at the other
I
one
mean, it's
that I
not
just
like it doesn't
posted.
look good. It certainly looks good. To me,
I
it
mean-
definitely looks like a downgrade. Now, if it had just been like the water or something like that, I'd have been totally fine. Like me personally, if I was interested in getting the game, I wouldn't give a shit. But like that, the difference in his suit between the two, that would irritate the shit out of me because that does look like a major downgrade.
Look at the two that I just put. Those are some other examples that a lot of people found.
The rest of the game looks really good though.
The
I mean,
game-
as Google reviews so far, it's positive. My friend told me he said it was like kind of disappointing, but all right. I mean,
from what I heard, I watched an ACG review. He said the game is very repetitive after a certain point, but it still managed to be fun. It's only about 15 hours long, story-wise, but a lot of people find themselves swinging around and just doing random shit, which, okay, makes sense. The world, this is the one thing I do like about the game, is that the world is so vast, to the point where...
how's the website? Is it like PS2 Spider-Man?
Yeah, I hear that was a big thing because everybody loves the
Yeah.
PS2 Spider-Man web swinging, but like they hated all the other ones from then on.
So it's very mechanically impressive. You got to do a bunch of mixtures between swinging, wall running, zipping, web zipping, right?
How's the combat? Because I heard it's.
Oh,
kind of
here we go,
revolving.
guys. Fucking proof. I've got it right here.
The combats,
the-
from what
'Cause
I,
I can't get it right now because I'm gonna
Look
wait till later.
Look at
'cause-
that fucking downgrade
oh my god,
Wait,
fucking-
where is this image?
in shitpost.
holy shit,
Fucking horrible.
damn.
Let me check this out. Fuck.
I can understand why gamers would be salty as fuck.
Oh shit! Oh my god, the downgrade, man.
They showed with the Spider-Man 2, like the pizza parlor thing.
Hey, that was the best part about Spider-Man 2. What are you talking about? You're telling me you did not enjoy delivering pizza? What's wrong with you, you fucking
I've
commie?
never played it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I never played it either. I've never played any of the Spider-Man games, I don't think. Oh, wait.
Spider-Man 2 is the best one.
Oh, no, it didn't. Ugh,
I mean,
fucking
I
terrible.
won't be able to get Spider-Man though because I'm playing Forsaken all September, and then October is gonna be Red Dead Redemption, and then after that, Warframe. That's what.
Ugh, fucking scrub.
Me? I'm the scrub?
You heard me.
How the fuck am I the scrub, you fag?
Because I said so.
Oh, you can suck my dick then.
I'm good. Go ask Cry's sister.
What? Nigga, what?
Speaking of identifying as a 13-year-old and sexually assaulting a minor. No, seriously though. So, who did? Man, do I still have the article? Please tell me I still have the article. Yes, yes.
You want to talk about like how the left defended Pope Francis?
No. So, transgender shit and all that. Unisex changing rooms put women at danger of sexual assault, data reveals.
Guys, I said you identify as a girl. Now let me fuck you. What?
Man, if only people had warned everybody about the dangers of letting guys just identify as a woman. And,
On the spot?
God, the vast majority of reported sexual assaults at public swimming pools in the UK take place in unisex changing rooms, new statistics reveal. The data obtained through
I'm a pizza parlor.
through a
Imagine
Freedom of
myself.
Information request by the Sunday Times suggests that unisex changing rooms are more dangerous for women and girls than single-sex facilities. just under 90% of complaints regarding changing room sexual assaults, voyeurism, and harassment are at incidents in unisex facilities.
I'll be right back. Second guess.
Yep.
So you're telling me basically allowing anyone to go into a woman's change room and grab a girl by the tit and get away with it is not how it's supposed to work.
Well, technically, this is putting a room where both men and women can go into the same place and change is a bad idea, apparently. Who would have thought? Yeah.
Who would have thought that calling Thanos at 3 a.m. was a good idea, man? You know. You just gotta don't call Thanos at 3 a.m., dude.
Oh, wait, Sam,
Get a really penis-shaped paper cut out of a Thanos peeking through part of your wall. Well,
Yeah. I'd say I'm surprised, but we saw this shit with Target and everything too, so I'm not surprised.
I mean, imagine my shock.
Imagine my shock. Yeah. And oh man, it's so stupid. Like, because I'm sure. Well, there's been unisex bathrooms for a while, because like the family bathrooms and the changing station bathrooms and all that. And I'm sure there's other places where they've got.
I'm sure they respect tons of women, though.
No, but like I'm sure there's plenty of places. Well, because like just think about. Oh, there's all sorts of times when like modeling gigs and shit like that, where men and women have to either change like right next to each other or shit like that, and nothing usually ever happens. But like, I swear to God, man, you make this a big fucking issue, and then start demanding that all these places have either allow men and women into the opposite if they identify as the opposite, or start creating these unisex
if there was
bathrooms.
Unisex bathrooms, I would take advantage of that to like get a look at some good titties. Yeah, I'll be honest.
Well, that was the thing. Like, there was a boy who identified as a girl, and he demanded that the school subject themselves to his whims or whatever, and so they allowed him to start changing in the girls' locker room and shit. And it wasn't a couple weeks later when they had complaints from the girls because he was dancing with them inappropriately, touching them inappropriately, like doing all sorts of inappropriate shit. And I'm sure I don't even want to like get on the kid and say that he was,
He's not. He's like, yo, I get titties, so I'm gonna take this advantage of my.
Well, that's he was probably just doing what idiot boys do when they're changing with other idiot boys, pretending to jerk himself off, or smacking at somebody with a wet towel, or shit like that. I could totally see him just doing shit like that and thinking, oh hey, I'm a girl with a bunch of girls.
The locker room.
But
oops, I messed that joke up, darn.
But I mean, it's like, fuck, man. What did you guys think was gonna fucking happen? I swear to fucking Christ, these people, they think, it's just identify as a girl and it'll be okay. No, it will not just be okay.
I mean, these people are clearly long-term thinkers. We've already figured that one much out.
Well, and the biggest fucking irony is they want to subject everybody. They want to subject 99.9% of the population to the exact thing that they are complaining they are being subjected to. They say that they're a woman or a man or whatever, and so they want to change with other women, or at the airport they want to be patted down by another woman. And they can't even see the irony in that for 99.9% of the population, they are demanding that all those people do exactly what they're claiming they have to put up with. Some fucking bullshit.
That's very odd.
I mean, he's feminist and not very smart.
Yeah, we kind of figured that one out.
I guarantee the kid was probably just staring at the girls change, willing to bet that much.
You just feel like a weird light. It's just so. Wait, hold on.
Which, hey, not gonna lie, I'll tell you a story real quick. back when I was a youngster, back when I was in high school, the boys and the girls change room.
You
There's
you
like
mean a
you know how
couple
they're
months
separated
ago?
between walls. No, this was in grade grade 9. So this was like a couple years ago.
Oh, excuse me.
I said back in when I was in high school.
You're 18,
Sorry,
bro.
sorry.
Back in high school was not that long ago.
I know. Point is, this dude who always tried to get a peek in the girls' change room all the time. Always tried. And I guarantee if someone popped up saying he can get in there just by saying he's a chick, he would have done it. He would have done it. Because I know people who would have done that shit.
You would have peaked in one dig.
In happier news, Linda Sarsour was arrested at the U.S. Capitol.
All right, we need to play the theme of Return of the Jedi. You know?
Wait, wasn't that one person that hosted that one protest?
He
The
told you Islam is the religion of peace and loves women.
oh, and that hijabs are a symbol of female empowerment, and oh, she was the one that told Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who was a victim of female genital mutilation, that she didn't deserve her vagina.
Oh.
Yeah,
Nice person.
and her name, she's the one who her name in Arabic literally, Sarsour literally means cockroach in Arabic. Which, God,
Oh, darn.
you just know God has a sense of humor with shit like that. You just know.
That person just walked.
I mean, that's an accurate representation.
Perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect. And how her parents knew that shit from the very beginning, like, I don't even know. But, you know, good on them.
They just got dabbed on so hard. I think I just ate too many gummies.
I mean, if there's a God, he's probably he has the best sense of humor, doesn't he?
But yeah, no, this is all over the new Supreme Court justice when all the fucking oh yeah, and lefties in the Supreme Court justice hearing were literally making a scene, and I don't know about actually threatening, but they were at least being very aggressive towards Kavanaugh's kids, and his kids had to be escorted off the premises by fucking security.
Democrats not violent.
Right?
Gangster. That's some fake news.
Fucking quality fucking people here. Quality
Quality
fucking
over
people.
quantity, as they say.
Yeah. So her and 30 other people were arrested for I'm not sure exactly what the charge disorderly conduct. Probably a few other things. Oh no, that was in March 2017. Never mind. That was another time she was arrested at Trump Towers. So yeah, it doesn't actually say what she was arrested for this time. But yeah, fucking bullshit. Anyway, in gamer news, there's actually a shitload of sales going on right now.
Gamers rise up to live in a society.
Good Old Games is having their back to school sales,
But God,
which
There's a good amount of Linux games.
and they're doing flash sales, which I mean that kind of sucks because they don't last too long. But they've also got.
I need to start shopping. I spent money.
oh, apparently they're bringing back flash sales.
I'm confessing, guys. I bought Warframe Plat.
Whatever, dude. I've bought a few plat. I don't care.
No, I spent I got a Plat discount, so I spent like $50 on like 4,000 Plat.
Jesus, the fuck is wrong with you?
I could have bought a game, but the problem is
You could have spent like $20 and you would have been fine, bruh.
no, but I got 4,000.
I don't care. I don't care.
Dude, I went trading. I went trading and bought tons of skins. Come at me.
Whatever. Anyway.
1v1 him on his Minecraft. So.
And then I farmed and made 2,000 Plat just selling shit. So yeah.
Well, I obviously can't say what the flash sales are going to be throughout the sale, but they've got the whole Homeworld franchise on sale for pretty. I mean, it's like they're all like $5 or something like that. Which yeah, those are supposedly really fun. Dead Space is $3.
Second one.
First one.
How about the second one?
I don't know. It doesn't say. Let's see. Dead Space.
You mean Despacito?
Despacito 2.
Camel, I'm literally gonna
No, I
Are
can't
you guys
do
in
that. Never
West?
mind.
Are you guys in West Virginia with the mountain llamas?
Okay, you could die.
They don't have Dead Space.
No.
They don't have
I
Dead
can't do that.
Space
How about that?
2.
Really?
Yeah, just one.
Huh.
The Descent franchise is on sale. Shadowrun's only $3. Deus Ex Game of the Year is $2.50. Shogo Mobile Armor Division's $2. Soma, Everspace. Darksiders 2 is $5. Darksiders 1 is $3.
Darksiders 2's $5, really?
Yeah, I could have gotten the whole
Oh.
thing for $5 at
I got a good YouTube
Steam
video
the other day,
recommend.
though.
I got a good YouTube video to recommend, by the way. real
What's
quick.
that?
It's probably the first time I may ever recommend a video from Dennis Prager or PragerU.
Oh, the new one with Crowder?
No, it's I haven't seen the one with Crowder, but it's the one where it's Dennis Prager, liberal or left. It's one of the because big problem is you know how the leftists kind of took the word liberal and saying that a liberal is now an open borders socialist or something like that.
Sure.
No, it's a meme.
No, but it's an actual thing that these people call themselves liberals when they're identitarians, kind of. And Dennis Prager did a really good video, like explaining the difference between a liberal and these leftists. It's a really good video. It's probably maybe the only few times I might recommend a PragerU video.
I like most of PragerU's stuff.
I know, but it's just stuff I already know, like kind of like what's the problem with the radical left? Like if you're trying to find out what's wrong with these leftists, then PragerU might be a good spot. But its problem is I already know most of it. That's the thing.
Ultima 1, 2, and 3 is 89 cents. Witcher franchise is on sale on Steam, up to 85% off.
Buy Witcher 1 and 2. There you go. Witcher 2 and 3. Witcher 1 is so outdated. Don't even try playing it.
Dead Island Definitive is 75% off. It's $11. And then Retro Revenge and Riptide are both on sale. Calypso, Railway Express, Dungeons 3, Tropico 5, Sudden Strike are on sale. The Neptunia series is on sale, 40 to 80% off. The Messenger 20% off if you own Enter the Gungeon.
I want to enter the dungeon.
This one's not Steam. This one's Gamers Gate, but Fallout 4 is almost 70% off, and save an extra 10% with the code SPECIAL. So it's only $88.91. It's a Steam key though, so it's on Steam. Everspace is $9, and Deep Rock Galactic is 30% off, $17.49.
And can we talk about the Cyberpunk trailer thing?
What about it?
I watched it again, and because first time I saw it, I was hyped. I was watching it again, and honestly, it does look like a good game, but I don't think it's gonna make a masterpiece. I guess because the voice acting, at least I'm not sure about the dude, but for the chick, I hated the voice acting.
I haven't even watched the video yet.
I mean, the game's been in development 5 years, and it's kind of like one of the things is that's it, and they show like they do a quote unquote choice segment, which is like you basically go in there buy what's it called, like buy this drone or go in there, gun everyone down, and steal the drone or steal it, like break in, sneak in, and steal it. But this guy does a normal way where you go buy it, but it ends up being like a violent, like gun down showdown anyway. So it's kind of boring. It's not gonna be the rest of the game like an illusion of choice.
Well, that's the thing. He might have just done it wrong. Like, there's plenty of stuff like that in The Witcher where.
Because in Cyberpunk there's these digital currency. It's kind of like it's digital. It's like the currency's like money's like basically like a USB stick that you plug into your computer and all that stuff. And basically the person who gave you the money, the 50K credits for it, basically had it. It was a fake credit chip and it fried their computers. That's why. I'm
Well,
wondering,
okay.
is there gonna be a choice, or is it just gonna be a violent gun down?
Well, no.
Like,
Here's the thing.
choice?
There's a whole bunch with that though. For one, we don't know if that's going to be the actual. Like they might have just done that for. They might have set up that specific scenario just for the demo, so that they could show you the choices that you could make, then show you a choice that isn't just running in there and gunning everybody down, but that ends in an action sequence, so you get to see everybody get gunned down anyway, because that's like one of the more interesting parts is actually watching the combat. So that's one thing. They could have set all that up and
And I'm not saying I'm like against like oh, a combat, but I just kind of don't.
no. But what I'm
choice.
saying is they might like even if that scene is still in the game when the game launches, they might have completely reworked the scene so that there are choices that don't end in combat besides just like the stealth steal it option. The second thing is oh shit, what was I going to say? Like, and there also might be other parts to that we don't know about, right? So like there might be another sequence in between the chip, getting the chip from that dude and going to the place and trying to buy it that they just skipped, that if you did it, it would end up in a you just walk in and buy it or whatever else happens and you don't end up shooting everybody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there could be a whole, like you just go to there's an optional part where you happen across your buddy on the street and you say, hey, can you check this thing to make sure it's legit? And they say, oh no, man, this will fry whatever computer you plug it into. And then you go back to the guy and you beat the money out of him, and then you go back to the store and they give him the real money, and then you just buy the thing and you're good. So who knows, right? I think that entire scenario was a lot more set up than
we think.
Well, than you would think, right? Because like I said, the action part is going to be the most interesting part for a trailer, and they wanted to make sure that an action part was in the trailer, but that they also wanted to show the consequence of choice, and that there were other options other than, because they could have just done the trailer, you walk in, you start shooting everybody, and you just take it, right? But they didn't want to do that because they wanted to show you that you could actually do other things besides just running in there and gunning everybody down. But they still wanted to have an action sequence in there because, like I said, that's going to be the interesting part of the trailer, is watching the gunfighting and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I have a feeling that any trailers like that we see are probably a lot more staged than you would assume. And that even if the parts in the trailer that we see are in the final game, they'll probably be different than what we saw in the trailer because they might have altered them just so that it works as a trailer better. I mean, they do that all the time for movie trailers. There are scenes in movie trailers that don't even end up in the movie, or they cut up a couple different scenes and string them together in a way that almost completely changes the, if not story outright, then at the very least, like the tone of the movie or something like that. If there's a twist in the movie and they don't want to reveal it, then there's a lot of times when they'll take later scenes after the twist, but they'll splice them into earlier scenes and make it look like those scenes are a lot closer together than they are, and make you assume some things about the movie that end up not being true at all because, like I said, there's a twist, and so yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Who knows? The game's gonna be good.
It's CD Projekt Red, man. They don't. I don't think they've ever made a bad game.
Witcher 1.
Witcher 1 wasn't a bad game. It
Yeah.
just didn't age correctly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it had bad mechanics, and it was kind of clunky, and the graphics weren't fantastic, but it was still a good game. Like, the story was still fantastic. The you know, quests and the the open worldness and all that kind of shit. It was all great. They just hadn't found their legs yet as a developer.
I guess.
Have faith. Have faith, my son. Have faith. I have a feeling like I don't know. It's going to be difficult because they're falling into the same hype trap that a lot of games have fallen into. Like, say, Duke Nukem Forever. Or what's another recent game that's fallen into the hype trap? Come on, somebody else can think of one. I mean, Destiny 2 to some extent.
What happened with Destiny 2?
It fell into the hype trap.
Yeah, it did. And Destiny 1 did as well. And more thing. Actually, yeah, right. Let's continue about games real quick. Because Tim Pool just released a video and he's talking about it. CNN is not doing well in ratings and Fox News is now above them.
Good for them.
Which that's fine, but I'm not sure if I want the Trump fan club to be above the Trump.
Dude, they're not a Trump fan club. God, I am really, really getting sick of this whole fucking Fox News is just as biased as CNN. No, they fucking aren't. No, they fucking aren't.
It's not. I don't know if they're against them because I do.
No.
Tucker Carlson.
They aren't against. Well, that's the thing. Sure, there are definitely a lot of people in Fox that are completely
right-leaning.
They are completely no. Forget right, left, whatever. There's plenty of people in the Fox News network that are completely on the Trump train. Fine, but there are a lot of people that hate fucking Trump.
That are on Fox News.
Yes. Can you say the same thing about CNN and Hillary Clinton?
God, no. CNN,
no, you cannot.
The rest of the people
Every fucking way. CNN, NBC, MSNBC, every single one of those the Young Turks, fuck, every single one of them. They have not one. I bet you they don't have a person on their payroll that isn't I'm with her or wasn't I'm with her. You cannot fucking say the same thing about Fox News. There are definitely, and they host people on Fox News that hate Trump or his whole team or whatever. Like I am tired of hearing that Fox News is just as bad as CNN in the uppercase lowercase with the SpongeBob meme shit. No, dude, sorry, you're fucking wrong. Now, is Fox News biased? Yes, they are. They have a right-leaning bias. I will freely admit that, but they are not nearly as bad as CNN or any of those other fucking alphabet soup assholes.
They're not as bad as CNN. I mean, they're not as bad as CNN. Just, I do like Tucker Carlson though.
Tucker Carlson's hilarious.
It's like most of the time, anyone who goes up against, and Tucker's one of the conservatives that doesn't put these leftists in the same batter as liberals, which I do appreciate.
Well, he's fair. He doesn't attack people on stupid shit. He attacks you on the stupid shit that people say. You know, he doesn't go after Tariq Nasheed and tell him that he's fucking.
You're an idiot because of this. No, you're an idiot because of what you said.
Well, I mean, and he doesn't even say that. He's just like, Tariq Nasheed says something stupid, and it's like, okay, did you realize what you just said? You just said X, Y, and Z. How is this true? And obviously Tariq Nasheed's an idiot and can't answer it. But
has Tariq Nasheed actually been on Tucker Carlson?
Oh yeah. Oh, you didn't see that? Oh, it was fucking hilarious.
Oh, I gotta watch this.
Oh, dude, yeah. Dude, it didn't even take like 1 minute, and Trick Nasheed was screaming at him that he was a suspected white supremacist and shit like that.
Dude, I think Turkish Sheik, like, Twitter props him up because when the Jacksonville shooting happened,
Yeah.
he literally called the guy who shot that place up, all his band players, a white supremacist. And like, bro, what?
Yep.
There's no race link to anything in this. He literally remember the shooting that Florida shooting that one involving David Hogg.
Yep.
He called the guy who shot up that school suspected white supremacists too. All these mass shooters are all suspected white supremacists. Bro.
Of course, they shot people, so they have to be a suspected white supremacist, because only white supremacists would shoot people, right? It's not like there's thousands of deaths in Chicago a year.
And only white people who shoot up places that are mentally ill,
God. Oh yeah.
You guys heard about that, right? The Jackson shooting, when they found they were like, oh, he's just mentally ill.
No, but here's the thing about the Jacksonville shooting. They stopped talking about that shooting really quick.
I mean, yeah.
No, because
that's
the
the one the dude was a Madden player, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently there's something involved that he's a part of the Reddit the hashtag resist Trump's Reddit thing, whatever it's called.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Wow. He's a part of that, and as soon as I found out he was a part of that, I'm like, we can't.
Well, not only that,
yeah. About it anymore.
Not only that, he was playing fucking a football game, so he wasn't in there playing Call of Duty or fucking Doom or whatever. He was playing a goddamn football game, so they couldn't go after him on video games, because if they were gonna do that, then they'd have to, well, one, admit that their whole thing was bullshit because it wasn't a violent video game at all that he was playing, and two, they would have to start saying that watching football is, because how is that any violence? Well, hey, you're playing a football game. How is that any different? I mean, really, as far as like your emotional state from watching your team play football.
And that means I'm literally better than any fucking Tom Brady, dude. I am Tom Brady. Even though I never played football before, really in professional. I played Madden. Close enough, guys.
Yeah, so they couldn't blame it on Doom, and they couldn't paint him as a fucking Trump supporter. So yeah, they had nothing. Totally, it's just like the. And
convenient enough, the only news outlet that found out that what was it? That the guy was on the Reddit of Resist Trump. I think it was a Breitbart article. Funny enough.
Yeah, sure.
It's like wow, I had to find stuff from Breitbart. Wow, there's something wrong.
It was just like the club shooting with Omar Mateen.
Are you saying about the Muslim guy?
Yeah. He was
They covered that one up really cool. Same with the Bernie Sanders ball shooting, where the guy tried to kill as many Republicans as possible.
Yep. Exactly. Doesn't follow their narrative, so they stop talking about it right fucking quick. Yeah. Total fucking horseshit. But we already knew that.
I mean, these people are insane. Like, they really are.
Yeah, they can suck my left nut. I don't even think I'd let them do that.
Oh, and midterms are getting interesting. Right in Florida right now, there's a big progressive Bernie Sanders guy running in Florida right now. I wouldn't say really Bernie Sanders because this guy makes Bernie Sanders look like a moderate. And
yeah, so does that So does that Acacia chick or whatever the fuck her name is. Cortez. Yeah, fucking Cortez.
Dude, I was watching. There's this one YouTube channel called The Progressive Voice. It's literally the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Here's the thing: when Cortez refused to debate Ben Shapiro and called him said stop catcalling, he literally, I watched the videos like, how can you defend it? It's like he literally circumvent logic that didn't make sense to defend the fact that Cortez doesn't want to debate.
Well, debating a white supremacist, you're only giving a platform to white supremacy, don't you know?
But here's the thing, Cortez, funny enough about Cortez, at one of her press outlets, she kicked out the press. Funny enough.
Of course.
What are you saying? Well, I thought socialists were the nice guys who always had the press. They're open, welcome to the press, open borders. Everything.
Yeah, no, it's Trump that doesn't like the press. He's the one that's so mean to him. And
I don't think has Trump ever locked CNN out of the White House.
No, he has kicked specific. I think it was CNN too, but it might have been like I think there was like a BuzzFeed reporter once too, and like but it was
You know, BuzzFeed's stupid.
there was a couple of times where he kicked single people out. It's not like he didn't ban CNN or whatever, but he might have kicked a CNN journalist out, and then I think he did the same thing to a BuzzFeed journalist or something like that. There was 2 or 3 individual journalists that he kicked out one time or something like that. But yeah, no, he's never banned any news agency. He's never stopped them from getting press releases or anything like that. Yeah.
Oh, and they're going after Republic. They're going after Republicans super hard, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Because the midterms are going up. Like they're going after them super hard. Like, and all these tech companies are even like the censoring of the conservatives of these tech companies has increased now. As midterms just keep getting closer.
Speaking of tech companies, so
also one more thing, can I name this? And sorry if I cut you off, but apparently a YouTube channel called Pedophile Watch that reports pedophiles got suspended and banned.
Of course they did.
And Robin Williams' Twitter got banned too because they had to ban his dead corpse just for good measure. A channel called Verified Checkmark Hate that reports on verified checkmarks being racist and evil people got suspended too. For being hateful.
Well, there was the was it that or was it somebody else that took a whole bunch of tweets from Verified?
That's the channel it's called. It's called Verified Hate.
And they flipped it to either blacks or Jews.
Yeah.
They took a bunch of tweets from a bunch of checkmark journalists, and then they race swapped it to either black people or Jews, and then posted the tweets that the other people had tweeted, and they got banned, but the people who posted the original tweets didn't. I can't remember if that was the actual. I can't remember the name of the actual Twitter account. But yeah, there was a Twitter account that did that. Fucking lovely. But speaking of tech companies, so Facebook has, or they just did a congressional hearing with Facebook and a few others. And let's see if I can get this right because I'm outside. But Facebook, the representative for Facebook, I don't know, I can't remember if it was the actual CEO, but it was somebody way up there. They said that to fight fake news and misinformation, they are utilizing, quote, alternative facts. Yeah, I'm going to say that one again. To combat fake news and misinformation, they use, quote, alternative facts.
Oh wow! I found this some dude made a stupid video. Apparently, there's fake outrage about Doom Eternal. SJWs are not mad about Doom Eternal. It's just the right wingers, right?
Well, it's the right wingers mad about the fake outrage about Doom Eternal.
No, I don't think this video, gangster. Check it out later. It's this guy's an SJW who.
I read the fucking. See, here's the. Okay, so I'm going through. I'm checking through my Reddit subs to find some shit for the show tonight, and I come across that video as a Reddit thread. And lo and behold, there's not only was the topic locked because apparently it was an excuse for a whole bunch of people to spout racist, sexist, homophobic, and xenophobic shit to each other. Go figure. But 640 some odd comments about right wingers getting out, what is it? 640 something comments about stupid right wingers who are getting upset over the quote fake outrage of Doom that never occurred, even though there's a Reddit thread with 640 comments. Nearly every single one of them is about how stupid right wingers are getting outraged over fake outrage.
Oh, and this guy, by the way, it's the same guy who made a video called Cuphead the Fake Outrage too.
Oh my god! Like I couldn't believe the irony. If the thread wasn't closed, I would have commented, "Do you guys even get the irony of you guys posting 600 comments, getting outraged over the supposed laughability of right wingers getting mad over fake outrage? Like I can't. It's too much fucking irony. That's irony inception, dude. It's irony fucking inception. Every other post was, oh, these fucking idiots are getting they're getting outraged over nothing. There's no evidence that there's any outrage over this. 640 fucking comments in one fucking Reddit thread about how there's supposedly no outrage at Doom. Like, I can't even, dude. I can't fucking even. And they had to close the thread. It got so heated that they had to close the thread. I can't even begin to describe the levels of fucking irony that are in this.
It's irony with irony with ironies.
Irony inception, bro. Like you could not create this kind of irony in the Matrix, bro. Oh my god. I was just laughing the whole fucking time. Every single one of them, every fucking one of those comments was saying how the term SJW or lefty or whatever is just a code word that those right wingers use because what was it? Man, it was so good because SJW and lefty and all that, those are just fake terms made up by angry right wingers so they can what was it? Phony term made up by angry right wingers, which basically doesn't exist, right? SJWs don't exist. You know, it's just a made-up term, so right-wingers can say that they have a mythical group to hate on, and it's like every single one of them is using either alt-right or right-wingers. It's like they don't even get the irony in saying that every single one of them saying that social justice warrior is a made-up term that's made up by those silly alt-right right-wingers. I told you, like, I'd need an hour-long video to go through and pull apart all the different levels of irony that are in this fucking thread. Oh, fuck. Yeah, which is a real shame, because, like, I hate it, because the only... I mean, like, r/games and r/gaming, like... they're semi-decent for gaming news and shit, but fuck, man, they're so infested with those people. It's just fucking a shame.
It's a plague.
It really fucking is. I hate it. Kotaku in Action is the only one where there's actual fucking sane people who are willing to debate shit and have an actual conversation.
Dude, I think Lou Boss said this progressivism, this leftism is a new religion.
It really is. It really fucking is.
Hey man, it's like the new Scientology. All of a sudden, they're praying to. They're gonna come up with who would be the god of the religion of SJW?
They haven't decided yet.
Who's gonna be god though? Is it gonna be?
Well, right now it's Muslims because they tick all the right boxes.
Oh, okay.
Or no, well, see, we don't know yet because there was it's the first time when there was that lawsuit between a transgender woman and a Muslim-owned, I think it was a tanning salon/spa, where the Muslims didn't want to do a bikini wax on the transgender woman because she had a penis. And of course, nobody wanted to talk about that because they don't know which side they're going to come down on. But that's the kind of shit that's going to eventually, who's going to be on top? Is it going to be transgenders or is it going to be Muslims?
It's gonna be the ultimate debate, and it's gonna end with a massacre, to say at least.
Pretty much. Pretty fucking much.
Unless we can take out the.
But that, I mean, I guess, because like Jordan Peterson's right, it's whatever your highest, what is it? Whatever your highest value is, whatever you hold, whatever value you hold in the highest regard, consciously or unconsciously, that's your God. And so, see, I'd have a hard time calling it for progressives because I would say like diversity.
I can't say we're diversity because these people are not really. They don't.
Well, no, their diversity, right? Not real diversity, but their diversity.
Unfuckable white women, though.
I don't know. I mean, yes and no. Certainly, there is a shitload of unfuckable white women in there. And,
I would say a majority of them. I'll put down money.
Well, I mean, it's unfuckable men and women.
But mostly it's mostly white women though.
Yeah, but that's just because white women is the big. Men can't be really in the group because they're the most oppressive. So
if you're the like it's like this game progresses it's like a game of cards, and then there's like you have like, well, I have the white straight one male card, I win.
Pretty much. So yeah, you're
you're
at the bottom of the stack, so they can't be the most outspoken voices. So it's got to be white women because they're the most populous because white people are the largest group, and women are oppressed out of women and men. So they end up with the largest amount of population in a position where they can claim they're oppressed in their narrative. So they end up, yeah. So I don't know if I would be comfortable claiming that it was a white woman thing, more of
an ugly,
they, well, yeah, they happen to be the largest group with the most power within their paradigm.
Actually, wait, don't black women have the most power in the paradigm?
They're not large enough.
Oh.
Yeah. Because black people are only 12%, so black women are 6%. So that's a real big drop from like the 35 or 40% that white women are. So they don't have the numbers. So it's going to be, yeah, see, that's the thing. Black women might be higher on the stack than white women, but white women have the numbers, so they're going to be the ones you see the most. But
it's like a virus, just it won't stop growing.
Well, like it's like Jordan Peterson said, they are caught in their own metaphor. You cannot make a category of things that don't fit in a category, because that category will grow indefinitely. It's the perfect God. Like I said, God has a fucking sense of humor, because the perfect microcosm of this is the LGBT rainbow and how it keeps fucking growing. That is the perfect fucking microcosm. You know, because it starts with just lesbians and gays. I'm oppressed. Okay, fine. Maybe. Sure. We can do something about that. And then lesbians, gays, bis. Okay, fine. And then trannies.
They took away bisexual. They took away bisexual.
I know, but whatever. Then it's then trans. Okay, whatever. And then pangender. And then fucking, hey, I'm oppressed. I'm a fucking otherkin. And then, well, I've got Hitler as a headmate. I'm oppressed. And then, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. It's the entire, see, this is, I hate it when people call the slippery slope a fallacy, because it both is and isn't a fallacy. It's only a fallacy when the argument you're making isn't the original argument taken to its logical conclusion. See, they said when this shit all first started, and conservatives and libertarians and anybody who wasn't
and liberals, it was being these progressives.
well, no, because Democrats followed suit. Conservatives, libertarians, and non-crazy leftists, however small amount,
Liberals,
but it had to be the outspoken ones, right? When they were saying
most of these liberals were already annexed. Like anyone who's a liberal and doesn't agree with this agenda already got annexed out of the group. So
well, no, I
they
meant
just, I guess 'cause a lot of these
regular
people are liberals,
regular
but they're-
people too. Regular people too. This is way back in the 90s, right? So in the political realm, it was conservatives, libertarians, people like Rand Paul or any of the conservatives or libertarians, and then maybe I don't know if the Green Party. I don't think they made anything on it, but I know there was a couple of left-leaning types, and then for normal people, it was anybody up to the non-radical lefties, right? Everybody was saying that all this fucking gay rights stuff was, well, one, it was nothing but a smokescreen, but two, it was a slippery slope that was eventually going to lead to incest, pedophilia, and bestiality. And that's when...
we were already on the incest road.
Oh, no, we're already at all three.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because they're already with the pedosexual stuff, and there was already a whole bunch of women that wanted to marry their dogs, and women who wanted to marry inanimate objects and buildings.
Fuck, what is wrong with these women?
Well, there was women who wanted to marry their sons and shit like that, so, whatever.
Ah, Jesus, man. The fuck?
And there's NAMBLA, that there's no women in that. So, but anyway, so when they made that argument, the radical lefties and the normal lefties, most of them, all started saying, oh no, you're just being a bigot. That's a slippery slope fallacy. That's never going to happen, right? Well, here's the problem, right? It's the same thing with the gun control debate and a whole bunch of other shit. It's not a fallacy if logically the argument being presented, taken to its natural conclusion, works.
Which it has been.
And that's the thing. The argument for gay rights wasn't, well, these people aren't normal, but they're not hurting anybody, and what two adults do in their own bedroom is none of anybody else's business, so why can't we just give them the same rights as married people and call it something else? That's not the argument they made. The argument they made was gays are just as normal as heterosexual people. They should have all the same rights. It should be called marriage, and there's nothing weird about it. They're no different than anybody else. And the problem is, once you move the goalpost, you don't have any argument against the next person who wants to move the goalpost.
Wow, this shit has its own lore, doesn't it?
It really does. Bro, I remember. I'm old enough. I remember in the 90s when every fucking conservative and libertarian was saying, this shit is not normal. It is... Man, I can't even remember. I can't even remember the exact counter arguments they were using against it. But it was, basically to the tune of, if you guys start down this road, it's eventually gonna you will eventually lead to pedophilia, incest, and bestiality and shit like that. There is no argument. There is no argument that you can't make against the exact position you are taking that couldn't also be applied to pedophilia. Well, the only one is pedophilia, because that one, it involves the consent of a child. That's the only one. But certainly bestiality and incest. The same exact arguments you could use about incest and bestiality. Incest, hey, as long as they're both adults, they're not hurting anybody else. What business is it of yours to tell somebody else what they do in their bedroom?
But incest causes a lot of problems, though.
Sure,
Like
but
genetic
hey,
problems.
so you could use the same argument for homosexuality. You could say the same exact thing about a kid being raised by two dads or two moms. In fact, there's now evidence to support it.
Support what? Like that two dads don't work out either?
That it's not nearly as good as a dad and a mom. So you can make the same argument that a homosexual couple is quote unquote damaging to a child. Or a better argument would be it's not as healthy.
They want to have kids anyways. I'm really confused. Why do people want to have kids anyways? I don't understand.
But all their arguments, it's perfectly normal. It's two consenting adults. It's
no, it involves a child.
Well, no, yeah, excluding pedophilia, but excluding pedophilia, it's two consenting adults. Shit, what were the they can't change their sexuality. They're born this way. They can't help who they're attracted to. It's two consenting adults. You have no business interfering in their bedroom. Blah 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 blah. All those exact arguments could be applied to both bestiality and incest, and a woman getting married to a building.
How does that work, though?
I don't know. Or these ecosexuals that want to marry the earth or the moon and have sex with grass and trees and shit. And
hold up, could I marry Mars just so Mars is mine?
Seriously though, because because the argument wasn't, well, it's not normal, but it's not normal, but they're not hurting anybody. It's their own business. Blah blah blah. If those were the arguments they had used, and they hadn't pushed so hard for quote-unquote normalcy or normalization, they weren't happy with calling it a civil union or whatever. They wanted it to be marriage. They wanted it to be the exact same as when a man and a woman gets together.
I'm gonna hop off later.
All right, dude.
Catch your cry. What were you saying? Continue.
Listen, yeah, they weren't happy with civil union. They wanted marriage. They wanted to normalize it exactly the same as the normal, as what 99.9% of people are. But that's the problem. If you normalize something that, even if we go with 1% of the population or 2% is gay, which I don't believe that for a fucking second, but even if we went that far, the highest estimates are like 2 or 3% of the population is LGBT. That's all of it. Even if we go that far and accept that, calling something that is 3% the same as 97%, what's your argument when the next group, tiny fringe group comes along and says, hey, we want our thing to be normal too?
Well, what's going to stop it then?
That's the whole point. That's why the slippery slope isn't a fallacy. It's only a fallacy when the logical conclusion of the argument isn't the slippery slope.
Yeah.
The logical conclusion of the argument that this isn't normal, but that's not a slippery slope. The logical conclusion to that argument ends right there. Okay, well, this isn't normal, but they're not hurting anybody, whatever. It's a completely different situation. But the logical conclusion of this is normal, despite it being a ridiculously tiny percentage of the population and all this other stuff, there's no end to that argument. Like I said, you can't move the goalpost and then complain when somebody else comes in after you and wants to move the goalpost again. It doesn't work like that. Once you've fought for the goalpost to be moved and it gets moved, what exactly is your argument when the next group comes along and says, well, we want to move the goalpost now again? What's your argument? Even worse, you'll look even if you do come up with an argument, you'll look like a hypocrite. And even
so they kind of built this for themselves.
They really did, and even doubly worse from that, they claimed that anybody who did have an argument against it was a bigot. So what are they going to say now? They argued for the goalpost. They said that anybody who had a counter argument against them was a bigot. They got the goalpost moved, and now the next group wants the goalpost to move again. Not only do they not have an argument against that, even if they did, they'd look like a hypocrite. They'd look hypocritical as fuck. But they just got through calling anybody who had an argument against their movement of the goalpost a bigot. Who is going to argue that the goalpost should stay still now after that was done to them? And I mean, just like today, I mean, people don't think about it because there was no social media back then. But man, if you made that argument back then, anybody who made the argument back then about the slippery slope or how this was going to lead to all this other stuff and blah blah blah, dude, they were crucified. They were crucified.
They got it for social media then, I guess.
Well, it's not even stopping it, but at least it sheds a light on it. At least now we see.
Well, yeah, the leftist movement, the identitarian socialists are getting their ass kicked movement-wise. The only way they even win is are in these like in New York and.
Well, because that's the thing. Before. There was no way to know. See, the only way you would know how many people agreed with you is if you brought it up in conversation, right? There was no Twitter polls, there was no Facebook groups, there was no Reddit, there was no 4chan, there was no any of that shit. So if you wanted to know how many people thought that, gay marriage was a bad idea, you'd have to actually bring it up in conversation, either at work or at the dinner table or at a party with your friends or whatever. And
imagine it would end well.
Well, and that's the thing. If you did that, you risked being ostracized, which is a hugely powerful force. By the way, it's one of the most powerful forces in human, evolution certainly, but human interaction is social ostracization. Yes. One of the most powerful forces in human interaction. And the only information you had to go by is what you saw on CNN. And what you saw was anybody.
Or Fox.
Or Fox. But that's the thing. There's one Fox and there's a dozen CNNs. So the overwhelming majority of what you saw was anybody who brought that argument up being crucified. So naturally, what are you going to think? Well, most people must agree with this. I mean, I have to say it was brilliant, and it worked for a good long time until the internet. Well, and more specifically social media. But yeah. I mean, just look at abortion, man. Abortion is getting talked about. I don't know about just as much, but certainly close to the amount that it was when Roe v. Wade was being.
Didn't the chick who did Roe v. Wade now against abortion?
Oh, I don't know about that, but with the
No, I'm gonna Google it now because I swore I saw a video saying I was the original person who got the abortion movement started.
a lot of people who were pro-abortion activists in their younger days end up being anti-abortion activists when they get older. But regardless of that, the appointment of Kavanaugh, because one of the things they kept saying about the appointment of Kavanaugh is, oh my God, they're going to overturn Roe v. Wade and women are literally going to die from back alley abortions and blah 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 blah. But more importantly, the issue of abortion is actually being brought up again, but this time social media is in effect. And people who are pro-life, which just for the record, I'm not necessarily. I do not like abortions. I think it's pretty fucking stupid. But I have yet to see any. This is my stance, and it's pretty fucking simple. I have yet to see anybody show me conclusive evidence that aborting a up to X week fetus, it's somewhere around 10 weeks or whatever. You can argue. We can argue about the line all you want.
I've seen I think Ben Shapiro or someone was talking about aborting, if you abort a baby at I think at a certain point, one of the weeks, if you abort a baby when it's already grown, he explains the process where I
know, but I'm not talking even that's at 20 weeks or 20 or 30 weeks or something like that. That's way ahead. I'm talking about the 6 to maybe 15 or whatever weeks, somewhere in that range, where you can still barely tell that it's a human being. There's there's no brain activity, there's no nothing, right? It literally looks like a fish for most of that time, whatever, right? And like I said, we can argue all anybody wants about the actual date, and I'm happy to have that argument, but I have yet to have anybody show me conclusive evidence that there is a difference between aborting that fetus and taking, say, a brain dead 6-year-old off life support.
Oh shit.
Any argument you can make about not aborting that fetus, you could also make against not taking that, say a car accident, 6-year-old has huge head trauma, and by all measurements, she's brain dead. But that's never a guarantee, because people have woken up from comas 20 years later and, they thought they were brain dead or whatever. You could make every single argument about that fetus to somebody on life support and use that same argument to say, no, you're not allowed to take that person off life support. And I don't think that's right. I think there's a good, if we reasonably know, of course we can never know for sure. There's no such thing as sure. Not in this lifetime. Death and taxes, those are the only things that are sure. But as reasonably sure as we can be that person is brain dead, there's no sense keeping them alive. So unless you can convince me that is somehow different than aborting a fetus that has no brain activity or minimal brain activity, whatever it's not a baby at that point. You're not going to convince me of otherwise of that. You're not going to convince me that it has brain activity like a baby. You show me a difference. That's my stance on it. So,
well, yeah, I can't. I was trying to think maybe I can come up with an argument, but I can't really come up with an argument.
Because every argument I've ever heard from pro-life people, you could say about, somebody, some kid or some middle-aged person, and it's even worse with them. Because shit can happen to a fetus. I mean, shit can happen to a kid or an adult too, but that's much less like. I mean, miscarriages and shit like that happen all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So, that kid or that, middle-aged man or that, 18-year-old, woman or whatever it is, they've had part of a life and, they're established. Everything with the pro-life argument is, oh well, but the potential, like that, that would grow up into a baby, and that baby could be that baby would have life. Yeah, well, so that 6-year-old's already had some life. She's got mother and a father who love her, and has friends, and has interacted with people, and has made drawings, and has whatever, right? Sat in class and did macaroni drawings and shit. So if you want to tell me that it's not okay to abort a fetus, and like I said, quibble about the date all we want, right? I am fully happy to have a nice long discussion on what week exactly constitutes when a fetus has enough brain activity or whatever you want to measure so that it's it's established. Fine. But every one of the arguments I've heard you could say about that kid on life support.
It's really conflicting, isn't it? Because it's strange how abortion's being brought up now, though. Is it because of social media? Or
oh, yeah. Well,
more people, there's more centrist / conservatives being brought out now.
There are catalysts like Kavanaugh being well, it really didn't matter about Kavanaugh.
Or do you think maybe the popularity of like Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder?
There's a whole bunch of things. Social media is, like I said, this is the first time that, like I said, just with with the gay rights argument, all you ever saw on 11 out of the 12 major news networks was, if you opposed abortion, you were a religious zealot and you just wanted to control women's bodies. So of course you wouldn't talk to your friends and find out how many of them were actually pro-choice or pro-life. You just kept your mouth shut.
You wouldn't be sent to the executioner chamber.
So it's the same thing. There's a lot of catalysts. One is the Supreme Court being 5-4 for the Republicans. And really, it's not even that. It's 5-4 for people who actually have some respect for the Constitution. Another thing is social media is huge. I mean, you can have a poll now and see that a lot more people agree that pro-life is the right decision or whatever. So, in the other, Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder, any of those guys, Sargon, there's actually people having a
What is Sargon's stance on abortion, though? I never actually
I believe he is begrudgingly pro-choice, pretty much like I am. I've never heard him give it. Well, his basic reason is, well, one, he's going to have to pay for it anyway, because it's either pay for the abortion or pay for welfare and Section 8 for the mother, whatever. And two, if a woman doesn't want a baby and therefore is probably incapable of taking care of a baby, it's probably best if they just have an abortion in the first place. I think are the two. Those are what he's.
Is there any morally gray area when it comes to abortion?
Oh yes. Here's the other one. This isn't even talking about the bodily autonomy argument. And this is where libertarians and what's up?
Let's finish this up real quick because I gotta get going soon. So you can go on your last point and I get moving. Okay.
Okay.
And once again, I do enjoy this talk, right?
Oh, yeah. Hey, this is the Game Talk where we cover everything from games to the great abortion debate.
Hopefully, we can talk about this more Friday, though.
So, this is the one where libertarians and conservatives, because if you're conservative, you believe in the Constitution, and natural rights, and one of those natural rights is bodily autonomy, should get into real trouble. There is something to be said about forcing someone to either have or not have a medical procedure against their will. Now, yes, I understand that there is another life in the picture. However, it's nowhere near as simple as that, because there's all sorts of circumstances, and I hate using this example because it twists it a little bit, but medications that may put the baby in danger, you'd have a hard time finding anybody who would say that no, you shouldn't be allowed to take that medication because there's another life at stake. So there is a line with bodily autonomy that even if there is another life in the picture, we still do not attempt to dictate
what you can and can't do.
Sure. And the test case that I would put forth is this. You have a set of Siamese twins who are linked together in such a way that separating them would be dangerous. One twin wants to have the surgery, the other twin does not want to have the surgery. Because other than the fact that with the twins, the second twin is fully cognizant and all that kind of stuff, that's practically the same situation. It's still the choice of whose bodily autonomy takes precedence.
Still the choice of the mother, I guess. Would it be the choice of the mother, or?
Well, right now it's the choice of the mother. No. I mean, like, fully grown. Fully grown.
Okay.
Yeah, fully grown Siamese twins capable of making their own decisions. Linked in such a way that, maybe not certain death, but at the very least a risk. One twin wants to get the separation surgery, one twin doesn't. Whose bodily autonomy should take precedence? If you can figure that one out, then the answer to that question will solve the answer to the abortion bodily autonomy question. Because you can just substitute it. I mean, it's pretty hard to say that if a fetus that had grown would choose for itself an abortion. So, I mean, we can just basically assume that the fetus says, I want to live.
Yeah, it's a fate. No one wants to say they want to die.
Well, I mean, there's always some people, but yeah, for the most part, you can practically assume that the fetus would say, I want to live. So we don't really have to. It's not a big deal assuming in a fully grown person for the infant, other than for the fetus, other than the fact that it's a fetus. It would say, I want to live. And the mother says, well, I want this out of my body. Well, whose bodily autonomy takes precedence? Well, it's the exact same question as the Siamese twins. One of them says they want to be apart. One of them says they'd rather stay together. Which one do you say yes to?
I don't even think I could answer that. Fuck.
No, I can't either.
I want to try to make the devil's advocate here, but I can't really answer that question.
It's not so clear cut, is it? Not when you think about it like that.
It's not so clear cut like how the right or the left makes it.
No. And I hate that. This is the worst part about all this, and thank God it's starting to change. But the worst part about all this is the left say that the right just wants to control women's bodies, and the left says that they just want to go around killing babies.
And the right says they want to just kill babies.
Yeah. And as right as both of them are, because I'm sure there are some right wingers that, yes, they're just religious zealots and they just want to control women's bodies. Fine, you know,
And
okay.
there's some lefters who want to
And
kill.
there are probably plenty of lefties that just want, you know, they just, well, sure, certainly Margaret Sanders, shit, Margaret Sanger, the
I mean, abortion kills, I think, black people.
well,
more,
that was
like a
that was the
genocide,
thing.
doesn't it?
The founder of Planned Parenthood, and I think it's like Margaret Sanger or Margaret Sander or something like that. But the founder of Planned Parenthood, I mean, if you read what she wrote, she basically created Planned Parenthood with the full intention of genociding the black race through abortion. So at the very least, you could easily assume that her intention was having as many black babies murdered as humanly possible. And in that regard, you can't say that she's failed.
Shoot, because how many black children die from abortion? every year
More
now?
than are born.
Damn, that's
Yeah.
insane to think about.
Yes. So if you take her word for it and you take what she wrote to be her honest and truthful opinions on the matter, which I don't see why you wouldn't, and they certainly read like a racist bitch's screed against you know, a inferior, horrible, whatever the fuck. But yeah, if you take what she wrote as her gospel and you consider the facts, she hasn't failed. She's not failed. And that's another problem. It's like you can't blame that one on Whitey.
Also, there's also a big problem in Canada with abortions because there's a lot of Indian people here. Because in Indian culture, it's it's a bit sexist, right? Kind of.
Oh yeah, it's just like China.
Gavin McGinnis talked about this. He said there's Indian fathers who, when they have a kid, if it's a woman, they'll say abort it, we need to abort it.
The same thing with China when they had the one-child policy. You know, girls were too expensive. They couldn't work on the farm, and you had to pay dowry and shit like that. So, yeah, everybody wanted a boy. So if they had a girl, they would either try and get them aborted or
like throw them away.
Or they, yeah, they,
they.
I mean, if they were lucky, they got put in a
some rich dude who wanted a girl or whatever.
No, well, maybe, but I mean, mostly it was state-run orphanages, which were probably horrible. Yeah, and if they were unlucky, which was probably most of them, they just got fucking killed. So, yeah. You know, what the fuck do you say about that kind of stuff, right? Like, I don't know. Yeah, if that's the one thing I really hate, and I hate playing this game because it's not a productive game, but this really is the left's fault. It was not right-wingers that started this nonsense with the you just want to control women's bodies, or against the gays, you're just a bigot, or whatever. Same thing, gun control. You just want to
kill children.
Yeah, you just want your toys. You don't care how many kids get killed. It's the same thing with all of it, and it's been this way ever since I can remember, all the way back to the 90s. I remember it. Like I said, I hate to play that card because it's not productive, but it was not right wingers who were saying this shit about left wingers. It was fucking, I'm sure there were a few, but yeah, it was not. I never heard right wingers going around saying that pro-abortion people just wanted to kill babies. It was, I think this is wrong, and those people over there are misguided, and here's why. But all you hear on fucking CNN was those evil right wingers. They're just religious zealots, and they just want to control women's bodies. Aren't they horrible?
And abuse women too.
Sure. Yeah, and keep their guns and kill a bunch of babies, and yeah, the whole thing. But like I said, that's neither here nor there. Regardless of who started it, we're in it now, and
you're in the mud now.
fuck are you gonna do about it? Yep.
Anyways, I gotta bounce, gangster.
All right, dude.
It was fun talking. Hopefully, we'll do more this Friday. Myself.
For sure.
Peace.
Later. Well, guess it's just me by myself. Well, that's all right. We'll talk about more on Friday, I guess. It's been a good show. Thanks everybody for watching, and see you Friday.